Well, welcome back to the online program for the alumni of the Sunshine Coast Health Center up here in beautiful Powell River, BC. And we've been talking about the concept of remembering that you're a human being when you're in recovery. And human beings, there are certain principles that human beings operate by, regardless of where they were born, even when they were born, what family they were raised in, where they went to school, anything else. And so in this program, we've been talking about a few of these, and in this one, I want to talk about one of Viktor Frankl's big points, and this was what he called the defiant human spirit. And it's kind of interesting in psychology. A lot of psychologists always dwell on all this negative stuff, like how do I overcome all this negative stuff? But one of the best ways of dealing with life is to dig deep inside yourself and pull out these things that are really going to help you. Things like courage and resilience and discipline and perseverance. And even if it takes it, forgiveness, acceptance, humility, all of these things that come from inside the person. And it was these things that Frankl called the defiant human spirit. Frankl even said that even in the worst possible circumstances, you still get to make choices. And he's talking particularly about Auschwitz concentration camp, where he spent time there and he was watching the prisoners, and some of the prisoners, of course, succumbed and ratted out their fellow prisoners and did all that. But a lot of them actually rose to the occasion and were helpful and like really quite remarkable things. And Frankl, from observing this, said everybody gets to make choices. And even in this worst possible circumstance of a Nazi concentration camp, you still get to make the choice of what attitude you take. Same thing that the great psychiatrist Irvin Yalom said, only his example was the drowning person. That even with the water creeping up over your head, you still get to make a choice on the attitude. Right? And these fundamental things that are inside all of us, and we're all capable of it. These are the things to latch onto in order to overcome tough times, in order to deal with suffering, right? Which all of you have lots of experience with, right? And so in recovery, this is a very good thing to remember. There are people, for example, I remember, these clients say, what if the cravings get so terrible? I just won't be able to help myself. Well, actually, you can help yourself, right? Cravings are not cause and effect, right? They don't automatically lead to drug use. Are they particularly pleasant to go through? No question about that. But everybody here, every client who's ever been through this place is capable of overcoming the cravings with that discipline, the perseverance, remembering the goal, reminding yourself cravings are temporary. All of these techniques can be used to overcome that, right? That people are not weak little beings. They're actually quite tough. We've had some of our younger clients, for example, who really have never given up financial reliance on their parents. Come in here, and one of the things, of course, we talk about is this concept of being the author of their lives. And so maybe one of the young fellows will say something like, it drives me crazy. I feel like I'm being held hostage, right? My parents put all these conditions on them. And then we say to them, well, if you don't like them, don't accept them. Well, that means I don't get the money. Yeah, that's what it means. So it means you might actually have to go out in the world and figure it out. And this scares a lot of people, like tremendously. It's tremendously frightening to people, especially if they have no real experience in this, because it's so much safer, so much easier to rely on others in our particular example here, financially with some of the younger clients. But they're all capable of doing this. I mean, that's the key, and they just haven't figured this out. So one of the things that we always remind them is to dig deep, and they'll probably surprise themselves. I always think of these Hollywood movies, particularly the ones where with the recovering alcoholic, so that it's the one I keep thinking of is The Client, right? I think it's Susan Sarandon is the recovering alcoholic, and she's taken on this really difficult case with this child, and she's, there's a real danger she'll succumb to the alcoholism and just give up and blow up. But she works her way through it, deals with it, and in the end prevails. Right? It's that concept. That's a good thing to remember in recovery. Anyway, that's this week's online program, and we'll be back next week with another installment.